stampers, and thanks for joining me today. Today we'll be creating this gorgeous autumn card. We're going to be using a masking technique and a really neat fold out technique. This beauty was designed by Wendy Burke. Gorgeous, gorgeous card. Let's get started. To create our mask, I wanted the large oval from the Oval's Big Shot die, so I ran this through with just some scrap paper, copy machine paper. And we'll just be using the large oval for this project. I'll be rolling out a little bit of dado on the back. This is temporary adhesive. I want it to stay in place for the technique, but not permanently. We'll be working with our friend the brayer today. Some more mustard ink, and we've got our mask over our very vanilla cardstock. So what I'm going to do first is roll the brayer in the ink pad. I have the ink pad the long way for full coverage. If you run it this way, you'll only get partial coverage on your brayer, and it will give you lines. And I'm also lifting each time I roll, trying not to seesaw, and kind of sliding back and forth. This will all help prevent lines. As I roll on my cardstock, I'm starting off the edge, lifting and rolling. And I'm also going to turn this so I get both sides without re-inking the brayer. Roll, lift, roll, lift. And once we're done with that, Halloween's over, we can remove the mask. And it looks like we have this great layer right there. If you have any little residue here from the dado, an adhesive remover or your finger will work. I'm going to be using 2 stamp sets. French Foliage, which I'll be using in clear mount, and Thank You Kindly, which I'll be using in wood mount. Yes, folks, it's true. Clear mount and wood mount work in harmony together. Tastes great, less filling. Tastes great, less filling. You know what I'm saying. For ink pads, we have Early Espresso, Cajun Craze, and more mustard. Early Espresso for our word, stamping them slightly to the right of the oval, and in my case, slightly crooked. Next, I'll be taking this beautiful leaf in Cajun Craze, and randomly off the edge, stamping it right over our layers. The next leaf I'll be stamping in more mustard. Again, randomly stamping off the edge, and even up onto our layer here. I love that effect. Stamping these words in Early Espresso. And these little dots that come in the stamp set too make a really nice accent. I've stamped the circle and the leaf on a piece of very vanilla, and I'm going to punch that out with a 3/4 inch circle punch. And I'm going to punch out just half of this fancy label whose name I've forgotten. Decorative label punch. Yes! Bingo! This is brand new. Just came out in our holiday mini catalog. Using snail adhesive, we'll layer that panel on some Early Espresso. Attach our decorative label punch piece. The circle goes on with a Stampin' Dimensional. A little strip of Early Espresso taffeta ribbon, tighten a knot. Just stick that knot right to the mini glue dot. For our funky fold, I have a piece of more mustard. It's 10 inches long by 4 inches wide. I'm going to take my Stampin' Up paper cutter, and on it I have 2 blades, a cutting blade and a scoring blade. I'm only using the scoring blade. I'm going to slide this right through to the 2.5 inch mark, score, to the 5 inch mark, score again. So it's scored at 2.5 and 5. And then we'll just fold back on those 2 score lines. And voila! That's it! Isn't that awesome? We'll attach this to the Cajun Craze base using some snail adhesive. And then we'll attach our main panel. I'm only putting snail in this front flap. It's only going to be attached to this front flap. And voila! Our card is complete. Isn't that awesome? I love, love, love this fold. So super cool. Thanks again to Wendy for this beautiful design. Thanks for joining me today.